Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? It's me, Robert Anthony, otherwise known as Rob the RV Guy. It has been a while, has it not? Well, I'm going to tell you why that is, and I also want to talk to you today about the Dexter EZ Flex. It's been about 9 or 10 months since I've had it installed on the Bigfoot, and I have a few thoughts that I think are very important for you to consider should you decide to put on a cushioned equalizer like the Dexter EZ Flex. So let's get into it. Well, I am in the state of Idaho for the summer. I took what's called a work camper job, and I'm in a campground that I'll be spending the summer doing work camping things for pay and for our site. In October, I went to Graham, Washington, and I spent 6 months in Graham, Washington, which is near Tacoma, to assist my son with some stuff that he was dealing with and going through, and really just to spend the time there. Not a place that I would have chosen to spend the winter time. However, it ended up working out okay. I did a tremendous amount of field trips where I did photography. You can go over to livingwithrob.com and see a number of my images that I captured if you want to see some of my photography from that period of time. Threw some magnets on the truck. I had no idea how much business I could generate just driving around the Toyota, the Tundra, with magnets on the side of it saying, hey, I'm an RV tech and I'd love to help you. I developed a number of customers there that I would consider friends now. It was a really wonderful time and a wonderful experience, albeit rainy and it's sometimes snowy. We got here about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and again, we'll be spending the summer in beautiful Coeur d'Alene, trying to build a customer base. I love it here so much already. Probably going to start summering here and setting up an RV customer base here for RV service in the Coeur d'Alene area, and I'm thinking we're going to spend our summers up here. The video where I installed the Dexter EZ Flex on the Bigfoot was one of the more popular videos. I have since pulled it down, and I want to talk to you about why I've chosen to pull it down. Before I do, let me explain what an equalizer is if you don't know. An equalizer in a tandem axle trailer or in a triple axle trailer is the point where your leaf springs for the axles come together and they form a triangle, and then they attach to a hanger that is welded to the frame. What these cushioned equalizers do, like the MORryde Cree 3000, for example, the Dexter EZ Flex or the Lippert EquiFlex, and Lippert has road armor now as well, a more heavy-duty version of the same. They actually help to cushion significantly the jarring that takes place as you go over bumps and your leaf springs take the load and they transfer that up through the trailer. Well, the Bigfoot comes with the Dexter 1310 equalizer. This equalizer is just an industry standard. It is very, very common on trailers that don't have from the factory a cushioned equalizer. These are one of the single least expensive upgrades that you can do on your trailer or on your rig to soften the road jarring and rumbling, which transfers up into your trailer, into your cabinets, and really, kind of rumbles everything around, the frame and the structure of the RV. They're a great investment and typically very inexpensive. I recommend them highly. They perform a different purpose, or they have a different purpose as opposed to shocks. Shocks dampen the load. The equalizers, the back and forth and a little more of the up and down is what they do with regard to making it less jarring in the trailer. The two combined are really great, which is what we have on the Bigfoot. Well, with great enthusiasm and eagerness, as I put these equalizers on the Bigfoot in the former video, I said that they were an exact match for the 1310. My information had come from Dexter Axle. I talked directly to them, and I talked to the folks at eTrailer 2 or 3 times to make sure that they would fit. Now, from a measurement standpoint, axle to axle, rear spring to front spring, they were exactly a match. Where they were not a match, and a viewer of that video brought it to my attention, and he's not wrong in this regard, is the height. The Dexter 1310 standard cast iron, cheapy $15, $20 equalizer has a distance from the top hole to the 2 bottom holes, the 2 horizontal holes on the bottom, of 4 inches. The Lippert EquiFlex or the Dexter EZ Flex reduce that vertical by 2 inches, or a little bit more. Well, the viewer that had made a comment on the video brought to my attention that this will pull the wheels closer up to the wheel wells. That's true. It will also lower the ride of the trailer by an additional 2 inches. Now, I wasn't concerned as much as he was about the wheels getting, or the tires getting closer to the wheel wells. This is a legitimate issue, but it wasn't something that concerned me significantly. However, the lowering of the trailer by 2 inches on, say, a Bigfoot, which already has a very, very low ground clearance, to which those of you that own Bigfoots can attest, dropping it another 2 inches, you know, it's a real issue as far as I'm concerned. After receiving his comment, I started doing a little bit of research and a little bit of review, and this happened about the same time that I had my axles flipped. I had the axles flipped on the Bigfoot so that the springs now sit on top of the axles instead of below the axles. I actually had a trailer shop do that, giving me an additional 6 inches of ground clearance. The Bigfoot looks a little funny because the trailer sits up so much higher than the wheels now. Pretty much it eliminated the ground clearance issue. I love how much higher the trailer sits now. However, what ended up happening was, as I'm looking in there, the center hanger where the leaf springs come together at the center point in the trailer, on the Bigfoot, it's only about 2 inches. Normal is 4 1/4. On some of the outdoors RVs, for example, that I've seen, my son has one, I swear that thing is 8 inches long. The hanger is what the equalizer hooks to or attaches to at the top of the triangle that affixes, that's what affixes it to the frame of the trailer, and then in the triangle on the bottom, that's where your leaf springs attach. Well, the problem that I observed is not so much that the tires were closer to the wheel wells. There was still plenty of space in that wheel well with regard to my tires. It was the fact that the top of my leaf spring eyelets were now about this close to the frame of the trailer, which you can see here. That is a problem, because what's going to end up happening is, in the case of the Bigfoot 2500 series, at least, as far as I'm concerned, you run the risk of those springs as the axles are doing their job on that toward the center, hammering up against the frame over and over and over and over again, weakening the bolts, the center bolts that go through there, and eventually snapping them or snapping your springs. Not a good thing. So, moving forward, I still highly, highly recommend, as an aftermarket upgrade, putting on an EZ Flex or an EcoFlex or the Cree, the Moride 3000, Lippert Road Armor. Any of those type of equalizers are an outstanding, inexpensive investment that you can make to really reduce the strain and the stress on your trailer as you're driving. The issue is going to be that center hanger. You want to pay close attention to that. If you have a rig like the Bigfoot, where your center hanger is pretty squatty and pretty short, you're going to want to have a different hanger put on. In the subsequent video, one coming up, what I'm going to be doing is, as I do my brakes and my bearings and I have everything all pulled apart to put the new shocks back on the rig, I'm actually going to take that center hanger, I'm going to cut it off, and I'm going to drop mine down to a 4 1/4 inch hanger from the 2.5 or so inch hanger that it has on it now. And what that will do is that's going to bring that EcoFlex, not EcoFlex, that's going to bring the EZ Flex down away at the 2 vertical holes, down away from the trailer another 2.5 inches, which is going to put it basically back where it was out of the factory. The reason that the short hanger works in the Bigfoot is because they put the Dexter 1310 on there, and that compensates for that additional height that's needed. So if you are looking to do an equalizer and you've come across my videos because I've done it and you're interested in doing it and you happen to have a Bigfoot or a trailer similar to the Bigfoot, make dang sure that you have the clearance on those center springs where they mount at the bottom part of the triangle to that top hole. You want to make sure that when that reduces your clearance, that it's not going to pull your leaf springs up too close to your frame. And of course, you want to watch your wheels and your tires and the wheel well. take some measurements and make sure it's going to fit. It's an excellent upgrade. You cannot go wrong. I recommend them as an RV tech highly. Hey, if you haven't already, come on over to the website at robthervguy.com. We're developing it. It's continuing to develop and progress, and I am really pleased with the way that it turned out. You can subscribe to my blog at robthervguy.com/blog. Every once in a while, I'll produce an article that will go over a tip or a trick that you can find. And right from the website, you can find your way over to my Facebook page, which is where you'll find all kinds of work that we've been doing. Whenever I go out on a job, I try to share images and tips from that job with the RV community. We're starting to develop a following there. I'd love to have you on board. I want to say as we close out how much I appreciate those of you that interact with me on the channel, for those of you that have subscribed and become part of the family. And I really value the input that I get from most of you. We like with any place, anything where you're in social media, you get people that are going to be snarky and because I guess from the basement with their keyboard, they feel empowered to just be cruel, whatever, I guess. Those of you that have provided feedback, I really appreciate it. In particular, I'm glad for the viewer that brought the difference in the equalizer of 1310, the 1310 equalizer, in comparison to the EZ Flex, that variable in that height. That's pretty significant and could affect some people, certainly did me. So thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Love to have you a subscriber. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, hit that bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. And as we close out, getting ready for the next video to come out, if you click here, that playlist will be all things RV modifications and upgrades. If you click this video right here, it's going to be the video that YouTube thinks you want to see next. And of course, if you click the circle, you're subscribed. You know what? I'd love to have you on board as a subscriber. Until next time, Rob out.